Hello, my name is LoG, and welcome to my new series called LoG Power-Ups. In this series, I will take you through an exercise part by part, finishing with you and I playing this exercise over a backing track that gradually increases tempo. Kind of like playing the exercise with a metronome, except you're playing it with a backing track and me. Let's take a listen to this first exercise that's based on a chromatic idea. This exercise will be split into parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the final part where we will play the entire exercise along with the track. Let's get started with part 1. Chromatic exercises are nothing new. People have been doing them forever. Things like this, like a straight up scale. Stuff like that is really great for your hands, but in my opinion, it's not that valuable musically, unless you find yourself wanting to play chromatic scales all the time in your songs. So instead of just playing a chromatic kind of finger pattern, I wanted to approach this with a more musical perspective. And the easiest way to do that is by taking a chord, which in this case, I'm playing A or A dominant seventh, and taking the chord tones of that chord, so 1, 3, 5 or 1, 3, 5 flat 7 if we're talking dominant, and placing them on the downbeats. So if this is my beat, it will be like this: chord tone, chord tone, chord tone, chord tone. And in between, you fill the space with whatever you want. And in this case, I'm choosing to play some chromatic material. So let me give you an example. This exercise starts on A, so the 1 of A, that's our root. How do I know that's A? Because 5th fret of the E string, right? So if this is A, I know the 3rd is here. How do I know that? It's just major scale. 1, 2, 3. All I'm doing is I'm filling in the space in between this 1 and 3 with every single note, so that when I get to the 3, I'm back on a downbeat. So if this is my 1, I'm just simply doing this. Notice by the time I get here, that's another downbeat. Bum, 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 bum. So bum, 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 bum. So downbeat, downbeat, like that. Playing like this, when you take these chord tones and place them on downbeats, those chord tones kind of make this passage sound less chaotic because our ears hear those chord tones a little bit more than everything else because they are on strong beats, whereas everything else is in a slightly weaker beat, kind of those in-between spots. So again, 1 to 3, 1 chromatic to the 3rd. And then I'm simply turning around and going backwards. 3 chromatic to the 1, right? Notice back to the 1 on the downbeat. So again, that whole thing, right? Downbeat, downbeat, downbeat. Very, very simple. Notice the fingering that I'm doing. I'm playing pointer, middle, ring, pinky, slide up with the pinky, and then reverse, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and then sliding back with the pointer. Fingering is kind of up to you. Do whatever's comfortable for your hands and for your technique, etc. By the way, I'm alternate picking everything in here. I'm never doing anything else, so keep that in mind. So that's the first part. Pretty simple. Next part, I simply move down to the B string in this position, and I play pinky all the way down to the pointer finger. So this is the flat 7 of A, right? If that's A, that's the normal 7, that's the flat 7. I'm just simply playing this note over here instead, just to stay in this spot. So flat 7, I'm coming back from the 1, so 1, flat 7, walk down to the 5. That's the next downbeat, right? Another chord tone. Remember up here was 1 on the downbeat, 3 on the downbeat, 1 again on the downbeat, and then 5 on the downbeat. All chord tones, 1, 3, and 5, right? So let's do that whole thing. Right, so right after I hit that root again for the second time, jump right down to the B string, pinky, ring, middle, pointer. Again. Pretty simple. Now let's finish this off with the last little bit. I'm on the 5 right here, so I'm going to move down to the G string right here with my pinky. Notice I'm using my pinky. Could I use my ring finger? Yes, but I think for this particular passage, the pinky is a better fingering option, and you'll see why. This is the 5, then I'm moving to the 4 of the key. How do I know this is the 4? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, just part of my major scale. 5 to 4, then I'm moving down to 2, then walking chromatic up to the 3 of the key, or of the chord, excuse me. Chromatic, I mean, there's only really one note in between it, but it's still sort of chromatic-y, if that's a word, chromatic-y? I think it is. So 2, passing tone to 3rd, right? That's this whole first part. So watch that last little bit. I'm on the 5, down to, with my middle finger on the B string, 5th fret, down to the 4 on the G string with my pinky, 2nd with my pointer, passing tone with the middle, then 3rd with the ring finger. Now, this finger you can use, but actually when I play this, I'll probably do pointer, middle, and then slide up and play the middle finger again. Again, fingering is up to you. This is just what I would do because it's comfortable for the next part that we'll talk about in the next video. So let me recap that part. Again, when we hit the 5, the 4, down to here, walk up, and then finish here. So let me play that whole thing. Remember, 1 to 3, back to the 1 right here, down to the next string, down to the 5, then the 4, down to the 2, walk up to the 3. I'll play it a bunch of times slow without talking. Really pay attention to that fingering. Play it one more time, nice and slow. Don't mind that last note. I just think it's a kind of a corny lick and I just had to play it. Anyway, so I hope you guys understand what's happening here. You can kind of create your own exercises if you want. This concept is very valuable, landing on chord tones, and it's super common. And it's a great way to play this chromatic style, but still sound together and less kind of chaotic. So now, if you feel comfortable with this lick, of course, if you don't, take some time to get in your hands, practice it, maybe work on your alternate picking if you need to. If you are comfortable with this lick, let's get started playing just this first part over a backing track that moves from about 60 BPM to 130 BPM. Let's get started. right, I hope you guys enjoyed this part 1 of this exercise. Stay tuned for parts 2, 3, 4, and then the final part where we run the entire thing. If you guys enjoyed this type of instructional material, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. See you in the next one.